Okay, listen, this is a message for a certain sister named Sarah. There's plenty of Sarahs out there in the world, but I want to drop this for all of the family. Sister Sarah was saying she's concerned about her husband. Now, I want to talk with you, fired up spiritual Christian women. I want to talk to you about the male human beings, and I want to talk to you about the reality of life. Okay? Forget about figuring out Christianity. Go back to Second Temple Judaism and realize there are two things regarding men when Jesus was a kid. Number one, you have to have 10 men present every day for morning prayer. Think about the effect that that has on the family, the children, and even the souls of the men. 10 men must be together to start morning prayer. You can't even start praying until you have 10 men together. That's number one. Number two, in Leviticus 15, it declares. Now remember this. The Jewish community is completely separate. They don't even eat with the Gentiles. Eating with Gentiles is considered, you're going to mess your life up. You're going to mess your soul up if you eat with wicked people. That's why they condemned Jesus. And that was a man made rule. So this is a separate society, okay? They don't hang out with the people that are not following the covenant of Moses. And the male human beings are responsible to declare themselves really, really special, untouchable after they've released their seed until the next sundown. This is a rule from God in the whole family and community. So, regardless of the reason, whether I'm married or not, if I have released my seed, in my workplace, I have to say to the Jewish people, because I only work with Jewish people, I'm untouchable right now. I'm untouchable right now. And if I sit on a saddle or a sofa, somebody who sits down there after me is also untouchable to the next sundown. Now, this seems like just a quarantine law, but I'm telling you, it also brings the truth of the male flow and the female flow into the family conversation. The little children get to say, Mama, Mama, ba 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 ba. Well, that's the mommy body, and the mommy body is untouchable. That's her special time with God. It doesn't, untouchable does not mean evil. It means something special is going on. So after the man has released his seed when Jesus was a kid, he has to announce to the family and the workplace and anyone that he bumps into in the community, I'm untouchable right now. This actually puts the most secret part of the human physiology, the release of the man, into the public arena, and it gets carried as the family. The woman's got to flow, a man's got to flow. This is what happens. This is the reality. This is how we come forth. And it brings an emotional honesty and peace to the family regarding the reproductive. And for the men, it also causes the men to be more self-controlled, because if you know that before God you have a responsibility to let the whole family know, hi, my baby fountain flowed. If that is your responsibility before God and your family, then you're going to think twice about going all the way and releasing. Seriously. It's an aspect of self-control for the male human beings. No, so why am I bringing these two things up? Because Sarah, Sister Sarah, when you have a woman who's in high gear, super high octane performance for God, it's possible for a man to feel less spiritual and weak. And in Matthew 5, it says, unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees. Read it again. Unless your righteousness exceeds that of the Pharisees. So the Pharisees would admit their flow, the men would. And then Yeshua says, if you're even thinking about somebody that's not yours, you're committing adultery with them. So the responsibility to check in on our lives and how we're doing is extremely important. And that's the reason why we gather. We've all been raised in this big box performance church, but nobody has gotten the practice of sharing sins and troubles. That is one of the most important practices of the early church. People come together in order to care for each other and admit our troubles and our weaknesses and even the callings from God. God's asking me to do this thing and I'm chickening out. I know I need to do it. And that way, brothers and sisters can come around and we can all do that together. We can walk on water together. Remember, Peter did not walk on water by himself. It wasn't his idea. He saw somebody of great faith and he wanted to walk like them. And that is our job, to find someone of great faith and literally to go and ask them to call us forward. This is serious stuff. So, Sarah, I strongly suggest to all the people that I'm in discipleship with that you, in my personal experience, I do not have a marriage bed. In my personal experience, I have discerned that about every 8 days or so, I have a wave of arousal desire. I do. Like about every 8 to 10 days. And I say to people, listen, when we come together for communion, if you are having body problems, just put your hand up and we'll pray for you, because there's so many sneaky spirits all around us in the advertising and the people you hang out with in the movies and da 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 da. So if you're under physiological arousal overload, just put your hand up, we'll pray for you. If your mind is obsessed with a person or a situation, put your hand up and we'll pray for you. This is common stuff. We need to focus on what the Holy Spirit is calling us to do and where we're supposed to go to rescue another soul. Let's not get caught up in the secondary problems of the flesh that are always going to be around to a certain extent. Some people are stronger in some areas, some people are stronger than other areas. But I'm telling you, Sarah, giving your man the ability to be real about his physiology. Mark the calendar. You mark the calendar when you are in your cycle, and you and he can teach the children to pray for the mommy body. He marks the calendar if ever he has a flow, and you can teach the children that the guy body has pleasure, and sometimes it's irresistible. That is the marker on the calendar. But then you can also challenge people to say, hey, if you're getting arousal, if you're single and you're getting arousal hits more than about every 8 days, put your hand up and we'll pray for you. I mean, nobody cared about this stuff in my life when I was a kid. If they had just talked to me a little bit about this stuff, I wouldn't have lived 40 years in polyamorous promiscuity. I wasted so much time just because people didn't have the guts to talk about stuff. And Sarah, when I saw that comment from you, I just feel like, look, the men are not being cared for properly because all the leaders and teachers are chicken. What famous teacher have you ever heard remember church is in the home? Church is a circle of people, a cluster of families that are admitting their faults, cleaning up together, getting so fresh together, getting back in the Holy Spirit, but making sure to tell what are your callings from God, what are your responsibilities that you're chickening out on and you haven't taken care of, and what are your common little sins? Are you bitter towards somebody? Or are you are you angry because you don't have things, or you have a shopping spirit? What are your troubles? Coming back together regularly to cleanse ourselves is first. Then we do the communion. Then we actually start asking the Holy Spirit questions about our lives and our situations. And he will answer, just like in Acts 13 and Acts 15. Send out Paul and Barnabas. Or, hey, it seemed good to the Holy Spirit and to us. Everybody in the room gets the same answer from the Holy Spirit. That is a thing that, Sarah, you should challenge your husband to enjoy. Your husband needs a circle of at least 3 to 10 men. Work on that. Bring the men home. Get the men together for regular communion times, regular blessing over the prayer over the world times. Come on, come on, come on. Go, Sarah, go, 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 go. All you sisters, this is the reality for the whole family. This is not any kind of specific thing. This is a general, universal thing. If you put these things in place, your children will be safe and your family will be refreshed. Come on, let's do this.